In a business as dog-eat-dog competitive as professional wrestling, it is rare to find someone who is beloved by one and all. And I'm talking about beloved by their fellow wrestlers, by the office, by the crew, and by the fans here. There's always going to be somebody somewhere who's going to have a public problem with you, and whenever a wrestler is involved, you better believe there's going to be at least traces of heat there too. Evidently, not with everyone though, as a select few stars somehow managed to develop and maintain a glowing reputation while working in the industry. These entries are in no particular order, and it was a bloody tough one to put together, as it turns out that not everyone in wrestling is a total scumbag, so a few honorable mentions first. Kofi, Owen, Truth, Eddie, Shad, Asuka, Woods, me. I'm Adam Pacitti from Cultaholic Wrestling, and these are the 10 most universally beloved wrestlers ever. Join us.
But before we start, today's list is sponsored by Skillshare. Skillshare is an online learning community with thousands of inspiring classes for anyone who loves learning and wants to explore their creativity and learn new skills. So I used this Skillshare course to learn how to create pixel art, and not only am I really proud of my work, thank you very much, but also it's possibly the most relaxing thing that I've ever done. This could be about personal growth. Maybe you want to learn new skills to improve career prospects, or for that little side hustle you've been thinking about, or maybe even just as a form of relaxation. Skillshare have courses to fit your needs. From photography and illustration to social media, editing, web design, and more, you can find classes that will match your goals and interests. It's ad-free, there are new premium classes every single week, and the entire catalogue is available with Spanish, French, Portuguese, and German subtitles too. The first 1,000 people to use the link in the description below or use code Cultaholic Wrestling will receive a 1-month free trial to Skillshare. It's totally risk-free, so learn something new, brush up on old skills. You will not regret it. Thank you very much for your time. Enjoy the list.
Number 10, Big E. When Big E suffered a broken neck on an episode of SmackDown, the wrestling world was quick to offer their best wishes to one of the most entertaining wrestlers in the biz. One thing that became abundantly clear, if it wasn't already, is that absolutely everybody loves that gorgeous muscle monster. Becky Lynch referred to E as one of the best humans in the world, while Sonya Deville called him her favorite human on the planet. And really, that was just the tip of the iceberg, as it felt like everyone, regardless of the company they worked for, was quick to point out the impeccable character of the New Day man. As we've seen countless times over the years, the power of positivity is not just something that E, Xavier, and Kofi coined for merchandise reasons, but rather a real message that they seek to spread. Big E has been at the forefront of this and used his platform to share love and pull others up, even when he, at times, may have struggled himself. Number 9, John Tenta. The phrase gentle giant certainly applied to the late John Tenta, who was best known as WWE superstar Earthquake, but also enjoyed a successful career in Japan as a sumo and wrestled for other promotions such as WCW. While the super heavyweight appeared menacing on screen and could handle himself in real shoot scenarios, as Koji Katao found out, the real-life Tenta was a dedicated family man who doted on his wife and children. Described by those who knew him as a big teddy bear, Tenta persevered on the road away from his loved ones and made the most of his fame by giving back to his fans. There are many stories out there of him going out of his way to do things for fans, especially young children, and Tenta was also one of the first wrestlers to directly engage with fans over the internet. As far as Quake's colleagues over the years, nobody has ever uttered a bad word about him, and since his untimely passing from cancer in 2006, his reputation for kindness and selflessness has only grown stronger. Plus, anyone who tries to end Hulk Hogan is alright with me. Number 8, Bryan Danielson. What a story the Yes movement of 2013 to 2014 truly was. Tired of seeing their beloved Daniel Bryan being constantly overlooked in favor of others who fit the mold better, the WWE Universe harnessed their powers and used their voices to essentially demand that D-Bry be given his due, which led to the Bearded Wonder capturing the WWE title in the main event of WrestleMania 30. The key thing about Bryan is that he was genuine, something fans tend to spot and latch onto when they see it. His overall niceness wasn't just some act, he really was a good, grafting sort of fella who loved professional wrestling above all else and always gave maximum effort whenever he stepped through the ropes. The fans' love of Danielson is apparently mirrored by his colleagues, who have all sung his praises at one time or another. Neglecting to get involved in backstage politics or some of the shadier aspects of the industry, he's a happily married teetotaler, the American Dragon simply gets on with it, the model of professionalism, always willing to share his experience and expertise with those wishing to improve their game. Number 7, Molly Holly. A genuinely great wrestler who remained true to herself during an era where female performers were often reduced to eye candy or placed in clothes-ripping match types, Molly Holly is widely regarded as a sweetheart of the highest order. Devoid of scandal, Mighty Molly's career is a tale of hard work and helping others achieve their dreams. She got her start in WCW, for example, after leaving her job in order to train Randy Savage's girlfriend at the time, Gorgeous George, and Molly famously helped pay for a young Beth Phoenix to attend wrestling school when she couldn't afford it herself. Though often cruelly mocked on screen for her supposed puritanical ways and refusal to conform with what WWE's vision of a diva was, Molly persevered through some regrettable storylines and forged a legacy based on her talent and the type of person she was. After leaving wrestling, Molly continued to show what a good egg she was by doing missions, charity, and counseling work to help the vulnerable. And you know what? Should you ever hear anyone speak ill of Miss Holly, then please let me know and I will promptly send Cousin Hardcore round to Alabama slam their filthy asses. Number 6, Ricky Steamboat. Ricky Steamboat was one of those rare things in the wrestling business, a career babyface. Extraordinary really when you consider how long the Dragon spent in the biz across various territories, but the problem for Ricky, who occasionally expressed a desire to turn to the dark side, is that promoters didn't believe that fans would buy the act because Steamboat was genuinely such a good guy. Pat Patterson famously vetoed the request in the early 90s, telling the former NWA heavyweight champion that they could send him out there with a chainsaw and have him cut off both of Hulk Hogan's arms, a tremendous idea to be fair, and the audience still wouldn't believe it. Always the hero in the ring, Ricky outside of the ring was just as beloved by his peers, none of whom have ever had a crossword to say about him. A humble, hard-working and easygoing family man who rebuffed the destructive lifestyle many of his contemporaries succumbed to, Steamboat is routinely referenced as one of the nicest wrestlers to ever lace up a pair of boots. Number 5, Bobby Eaton. Though undoubtedly popular amongst a certain set of fans, Bobby Eaton was very much a wrestler's wrestler. Adept at working with anyone, regardless of size, experience, or style, and making them look great in the process, Beautiful Bobby was as giving a performer as any other, with major stars like Ric Flair and Steve Austin counting him as one of the best workers of his or any generation. His generosity in the ring was matched by his kindness outside of it, with many wrestlers attesting that Eaton would carry bags of extra supplies on the road with him in case anyone needed something, and would reportedly supply gas money and groceries to people he didn't even know, despite being one half of the most hated teams in the business. So respected and liked was Eaton that the mighty Goldberg once requested to have his streak broken by Bobby when they visited the Midnight Express members' hometown. In 2019, the surprise Don't Tell Bobby Eaton Appreciation Night was organized, with many of his friends and former colleagues donating their time and energy to pay tribute to a performer who had spent his entire career helping others. Number 4, Brodie Lee. When the news broke that then AEW and ex-WWE star Brodie Lee had passed away on December 26, 2020 at the age of just 41, the wrestling world was stunned. The extent of the Exalted One's health issues had been kept under wraps, and his death was a hammer blow to the industry. What became clear after the news broke was that the former Wyatt family member had been one of the most beloved men in the wrestling business. Tributes poured in from far and wide, with most of them noting that Brodie was, above all else, a truly devoted family man who loved his wife and children. They also painted a picture of a slyly funny man who wanted to make everyone he worked with better. Another of the rare breed who never had a bad word said about them, Lee's life and legacy were honored with an emotional AEW Dynamite tribute show that demonstrated to the world what a down-to-earth and happy soul he was. His presence will continue to be missed, and it's hard not to lament how much more he could have gone on to achieve. That said, it's harder still not to smile when reflecting on what a great and beloved person he was. Number 3, Diamond Dallas Page. It's him, it's DD. It's him! It's Diamond Dallas Page, pro wrestling guardian angel. DDP was a Hall of Fame level performer in his own right and had one hell of a run, especially in WCW, where he succeeded against the odds after getting into the game very late by most standards. Post-wrestling, Dallas threw himself headlong into his DDP yoga business, which he designed in part to help wrestlers who were suffering from various common injuries related to the ring wars. In time, Page's business grew, and he used his successful formula not just to help out aching veterans, but to save their lives. Taking in the likes of Scott Hall, Jake Roberts, and Buff Bagwell, Dallas made sure that he provided the intervention necessary for them to recover and thrive. People have mocked DDP in the past for being such a mark for himself, or for his preference to extensively pre-plan matches, something which is actually more common practice these days, but everyone recognizes his efforts in positively changing people's lives for the better, and they appreciate him for it. Number 2, The Rock. By rights, everyone should hate The Rock. He's handsome, he's rich, he's famous, he's got a ridiculously good physique, and probably a massive wanger too. And he's widely cited as one of, if not the, nicest guys on the planet. Despite possessing just about all of God's gifts, Dwayne Johnson has remained a hell of a bloke and has not let his absurd success fundamentally change who he is as a person. The most electrifying man in all of entertainment still remembers having the famed $7 in his pocket before he shot to worldwide superstardom, and is always quick to point out those who helped him on his journey. Conversely, he's hesitant to single out any of his naysayers, of which there were plenty, and tries to keep things uniformly positive. He won't just give shout-outs to those who offered their helping hands when he was in need either, and has made grand gestures like gifting Harvey Whippleman a brand new truck as a thank you for looking after him early in his career. Even those that were once wary of the Great One, like John Cena, have inevitably come around to his considerable charms. Number 1, Mick Foley. It's not just a catchphrase or book title. Turns out Foley really is good. A true class act outside of the ring, Saint Mick has built his reputation as wrestling's nicest man by remaining humble, always being nice to his legions of fans, and going the extra mile when it comes to charity work, including raising awareness or money, or donating it himself to fellow pros or those connected with the business who have fallen on hard times. For a man who spent his career often trying to convince everyone watching that he was a raving madman intent on causing bodily harm to himself and his opponents, in real life, Foley has always been a personable, well-read family man who consistently goes the extra mile, especially when disadvantaged children are involved. Stories of the man of many faces going above and beyond to make sure that his fans are happy, for example, at an autograph signing or speaking event, are legion, as Foley consistently puts in the time and effort to ensure his supporters not just get an autograph or a picture, but an experience to last. Have a nice day? I'm sure we will, Mick, thanks to you.